Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 action film Avengement, a film that is written and directed by Jesse V. Johnson, and it stars the prolific B-movie action star Scott Adkins, and it also has Craig Fairbrass, who many in the UK will recognise. And this is an action-like crime thriller that, to be honest, I wasn't expecting a great deal from. I have watched quite a few Scott Adkins films, and while I recognise that there's a market for this kind of movie that he makes and the action that he does, very much in the same vein as, all them years ago, the straight to DVD Mark Dacascos type movies, and a lot of his movies have not really been my cup of tea. The last 2 or 3 I've reviewed on the channel have not really done it for me. However, what we get here with Avengement is an absolutely bloodthirsty, gritty action film that is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely loved this film, and it focuses on Scott Adkins' character Kane, who we see right at the beginning of the film. He escapes from prison and he looks a pretty ruthless individual, and he's got one thing in mind, and it's revenge. And he heads out to seek revenge on his brother Lincoln, played by Craig Fairbrass, and we learn through flashbacks mainly that he was betrayed by his brother some years previously, and was sent to prison. Once he got inside prison, there was like a contract put out on him, and anybody and everybody inside the prison who was in any way capable was trying to take out Kane on the inside in prison. And over the years it turned him into a hardened, brutal fighter, because he had to literally fight for his life on an almost daily basis. And he basically turns from a reasonably mild-mannered person who didn't want to get involved in crime at the beginning of the film to this absolute killing machine inside prison. And once he gets out of prison, he's got one thing on his mind, and that is revenge, and the person who he blames for that essentially is his brother. So he heads to his brother's local headquarters to have a confrontation, and that's all I'll say on the story really. But I have to say, this film made Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels look like a children's TV programme. It was absolutely brutal. You get curb stomps going on, and I mean really brutal fight scenes going on here. Really hard to watch at times, but at the same time you couldn't take your eyes off it. Now, Scott Adkins is a very, very talented martial artist. I think anybody who follows his career is fully aware of that. And this film, you do see quite a lot of martial arts on display here, but it's martial arts, very much street fighting version of martial arts, because some of the fight scenes in this thing are truly bloodthirsty, and it doesn't stop. It literally doesn't. It makes out like when he's in prison that literally every day he was in there he was fighting for his life, and it was great. What I really liked about this film as well is there was a layer of humour here, mainly coming from his character at times, Scott Adkins' character Kane. There was this underline of humour that I thought really worked. Now, when I've seen him try and put humour into his performances before in some of his films, I just didn't buy it. I've not at times bought his performances before, but I think that's when he has tried to be somebody else, when he's tried to be Ukrainian, or he's tried to be American. He's English, is Scott Adkins, and the thing is, when he is allowed to be him, which he is in this film, he's like this Cockney kid, and I'm not sure if he is from London, but because he's allowed to be who he is, he's not trying to be some foreigner, some Ukrainian guy or some American. He's just being him, and I bought his performance far more. You felt sympathy for him in this film, and then at times you didn't feel sympathy for him because he was just so brutal, even when he was being completely and utterly brutal to those that deserved it. You're not sure if you're on board with the violence in this film. And I think they made a conscious decision as well, because he needed to be the good guy in this film, but some of the things they were doing are the last things the good guys would do. So they give him like a storyline to make him more relatable to an audience. And I won't explain further on that. You'll understand when you watch the film. And I thought that was quite a smart idea, but I'm not sure it needed it, because I would have still rooted for him, because we saw what he had been through in prison and things. I'm not sure it needed that extra storyline, but I understand maybe why they put it in. So yeah, I really like this. This film was really good, really full of really good performances. I believed the chemistry, I believed the performances. There were some quieter moments, some quite more emotional moments between him and his family members, and especially his mother. And I think I thought it was a really well made film, really entertaining, very brutal. And if you're pretty squeamish, I would probably think twice about watching this film. So I'm giving this film an 8.5 out of 10. I've got to say it was a complete and utter surprise, and easily the best Scott Adkins film I've ever seen. So if you're a fan of Scott Adkins, this is an absolute must, I would suggest. So yeah, pop out and watch Avengement. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and of course I shall see you next time on Screen Stars.